Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast, Kezia. And I'm so excited to have you here today. And we have met over Instagram and we've been chatting over the last few months and just have a lot in common and excited to hear about human design from you. So that goes into my first question of what happened once you discovered human design? And I know we've talked about it a couple times on my podcast about human design, but since you're the expert, I would love for you to
Oh,
share how would you describe human design for my listener that has no idea what it is?
well, it's a tool that describes you mechanically, which sounds a bit boring maybe, but it's actually so freeing. So it shows you how you're designed to operate in this world, how where the places are that you take in others and where the places are where you give energy out into the world, into life. So it's basically your manual. Is that I hope that's the right English term.
Yep.
So and you get your map. You need to walk the territory, but you get your map, and then you get the description of how you're designed. It's basically it's very simple.
Yeah, that's so true. That's
Yeah.
really, it makes it all easy for you to understand yourself. And so when did you first discover human design?
I got initiated by a friend. She's a manifester, 2010. So that's a while ago.
Yeah.
And she had printed my chart because we were very close, or we're really close. And she was wondering why there's no color, because as a reflector, you have everything is white. Basically, all the centers are white. So she ran it again and was like, oh, she's a reflector. Now everything makes sense. And then she contacted me and said, hey, you need to check that out. I think that would really help you. And then I, deep dive into human design, and I'm still working with it, experimenting it with it, living it. So yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
let me go.
Yeah. And you've been doing it a while
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just so much more, popular, I feel, and most people I think now are gonna see this tool being used more widely, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
I mean, in the
yeah.
beginning, 10 years ago, people thought I'm crazy, I'm weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned it, but once a acquaintance, not a friend, but somebody offered me money to get out of the cult. If I need support to, like that.
Wow.
I know. And now, since maybe 2 years or so, it's popping up everywhere. A
Yeah.
lot of people do amazing work with it. Some,
Mhm.
I, mm, but that's how it is. At least the message gets spread. I think that's,
Yes.
and the knowledge. So that's actually really cool. And
I
I'm not so
agree.
freaky anymore
I
because now,
know.
right?
That's so funny. Like, wow. And where did you get your certification in?
I got a certification from the International Human Design School. So that's the
Oh,
school
nice.
that, yeah, I'm a 5/1, so I wanted to investigate. I needed to go to the source.
Yeah.
That's the program or something that Ra, so the messenger of it, actually built.
Right.
He didn't own it. He sold it at some point because he had his own things and own company, but he kind of helped to develop this whole International Human Design School. So for me, that was important to go,
Yeah.
as close to the source as I could. And I mean, my partner Pontus, he even worked for Jovian. That's
Right. That is
that's
so cool.
I know. It's so interesting how life unfolded. And he developed this my body graph tool
Yes.
with, so he was the main, or how do you say, head developer or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, our life is just full of human design. It's
That
just
is so cool. So, yeah, for my listener who doesn't know, when you make your human
mhm,
design, you want to use mybodygraph.com. Like, that's the best. And that's what your partner pretty much made and was a big part of. So, that's
exactly. Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my favorite tool because I know
Yeah.
it's officially from Joven Archive, so from Ra Uruhu's company, and it's
Yes.
as the basic information, everything you need is basically free. You don't need a subscription. So
Right.
you can listen to so much information if you use My Talking Body Graph.
Mm-hmm.
You get so much files and so much information for free, which is awesome because, you can just start your experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
really cool. And so you met your partner, right? So he is also a reflector, and you
Yes.
met at a reflector retreat. I need
Yes.
to know everything about that. Oh my God.
Let's, okay. So we actually know each other through a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I will try to keep it short. But the
Yeah.
thing is that he was doing a class where she was also participating, and they looked at all the charts of the people, being part of this class. And she looked at his chart and was like, wait a second, I just saw Kezia's chart yesterday. That's the same chart because we're born the same day, the same year. He's 9.5 hours older. So she was
Wow.
putting us to, yeah, gave him my name, and he contacted me on Facebook, and then we started to chat a bit here and there, and then we met aura to aura first time in Florence in Italy on the
I
I
love
know,
Florence. Oh my
I know, right?
God, I used to live there. I
You
studied there.
did.
Yeah.
I did. I lived there a month.
Oh,
It's
wow.
I love this town. It's
Yes.
beautiful, isn't it?
And I
Ah,
have such a connection there. So that is so cool.
oh my God. Another thing.
Yeah.
Our fractal is so
Yeah. It is.
oh my
Wow.
God. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
that's
romantic. Yeah.
it's yeah, I mean, I was in a relationship at that time, so but we just liked each other and were curious to meet a reflector. It's not often that you meet a reflector in your life. You need to go through a lot of
Yes.
people to meet a reflector. So,
Yeah.
and same day, it's basically my twin. So we were like, both are 5'1", so let's investigate each
Yeah.
other. And how was life for you? And it's probably, if we would share about our lives more, we would go, oh my God, the same happened to me at that age. So it's just something that is very, so much similarity. We look into the world through the same window.
Yeah.
So yeah, we met. Um, we went to this first ever reflector retreat together, and
Yeah. That's so cool.
it was amazing to be in this non-energy for a week,
Yeah.
because there was no generator, nothing that would put any energy into us except us reflectors. For
Mm-hmm.
and it just felt so amazing. Um, Not that I don't like energy from other people. That's not what I mean.
Exactly.
But just this feeling of just being yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. That was amazing. So we started our life together, basically then. And now
That's so cool.
it's fun. And I'm in Sweden now.
Yeah.
I moved to Sweden, and we are raising our little son. He's a 1-3 manifesting generator, all individual. So it's like
Yeah.
the opposite of his parents.
Yeah. How
So
is that? Like, how I know for me, I don't know why, I seem to connect a lot with manifesting generators, either as friends or as clients. Is there
mhm.
like a connection there with reflectors that you know about? Or is it just because maybe they have such high energy, something like
Well,
that?
I think, out of my experience, because we don't put anything into them and we don't stop them, it's
Mm-hmm.
just very free for them to just like, they are so fast manifesting. I think that's just they get space,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that makes it like that makes
Or
sense. There's something there. Yeah.
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 Hmm.
Yeah. And how is it with your partner since you're both non-energy? Like, do you feel ever like you're depleted or like how does that work?
Well, it's sometimes challenging
Mm-hmm.
because if we're down, we're both we tend to be down.
Yeah.
um and stuff, just it gets done, but sometimes it just takes longer. But on the other hand, there's so much understanding,
Yeah.
because it's just, you don't understand a reflector if you're not a reflector when it comes to
Yes.
energy. how
Yeah.
much we can do or not. I think that's there's the respect that you understand that the other person just in that moment cannot do what you would think the person should do.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good. You have your son that balances it out with the
Oh
energy.
my
So
God.
if he was
It's
a reflector too, then that might be
tough.
really hard.
Yeah. That would be probably more challenging because now he has I'm a bit nerd now. He has the full integration channel. So
Yeah.
he's fully integrated. So he's just in the now always and just fine
Wow.
just being there. So we can just put him somewhere if he feels safe. He's a 1-3, he needs a little.
Mm.
But if he feels safe, then he's just there.
Yeah.
In kindergarten here in Sweden, you have this, it's called inskolningstid, also time to that the parents join the children to get used to kindergarten. So Leon was just like, cool, I'm here now, bye.
Yeah.
And we were like, so we can go home now? And the teachers were like, no, 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 you're supposed to stay for a while, at least a week or so. And we were like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. He doesn't need it. Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Hmm.
And so it's also really cool. Like, not only are you both, you and your partner reflectors, but you're both 5-1 reflectors, and I'm a 5-1 reflector too.
Yes.
So that was like another connection. What about like the profile is important for my
Mm-hmm.
listener to understand?
Well, I would say the profile is very important because it's a huge difference if you have a 5-1 reflector or a 2-4 reflector, for example. That's
Hmm.
basically night and day, how they approach life, how life unfolds for them in a way. So I would say after type profile is the next thing that really makes a difference because it's a bit, you have the role of the reflector, but you play it with the emphasis on whatever 5-1, 2-4,
Right.
whatever your profile is.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like it's equally important then
Mm-hmm.
as your type. And yeah, so 5-1, we're all about like sharing knowledge and investigating,
Yes,
sharing our
building our
wisdom.
foundation and bringing
Yeah.
practical solutions. That's a totally different trip than a 2-4. I like the 2-4-5-1 because it's so different. The 2-4 is like just naturally doing things, not really knowing how it works, not interested really in it, very, networking, very reliant on their relationships that they have. We
Hmm.
have bigger impact as a 5-1 on strangers. So
Oh, I feel that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so because we have this mystery around us, people
Yeah.
project that you can be their biggest
Yes.
dream, you know
Yes.
s- exactly, and then you need to see if it's correct for you to step into
Hmm.
that projection field, because if you don't deliver what they expect, they burn you, and then
Yeah.
the
Oh my
reputation,
God.
they talk shit behind your back.
Yes, this has
you
happened
know
for me. I feel like
mm,
everything changed once like you were saying, I found out my human design was a reflector. And
mhm.
then once I understood more about the profile, I realized in the past, like I had been in jobs where I went in the interview and they were like, we think you're the perfect person for this. Like this happens so many times. And
Yeah.
because it was just like young in my career, I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Sure. And then I got really, really burned. Like,
Yeah.
I just got there in the role and was like, wait, I can't do this at all. This is not my strengths. Like,
No.
so once I understood that, it's like I get that call a lot that, either people see you as like that hero kind of figure, and I have to be like the
Best
one that
friend,
says no.
best
Yeah.
partner, best, everything's just wow. The world
Yeah.
lays on our shoulders like you're here to save me, you
Yeah.
know? And then we
Yeah.
don't deliver because we got lost in this projection field, and then we
Yeah. So,
we suffer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's changed everything, like
Yeah.
understanding that for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so what else is important in the chart other than the profile?
Well, when you have your type, then you have your strategy.
Yeah.
For a reflector, that would be way the lunar cycle. And then you also, it's a bit different because we're reflectors. You look at the definition. So you would look at I would always go from big to small. So first type, then you can look at profile, then you can look at definition, as in start with the centers.
Mm.
You don't need all the little details of the gates and the channels, because
Right.
just experience strategy and authority. So look at what is your inner authority, what is your body's knowledge, your body's knowing, your inner guiding system. That could be an emotional guiding system, or a splenic, or an ego, depending
Yes.
on what constellation, is that how you say it? So what
Yeah.
configuration
Yep.
design has, if I want to say it a bit more technically. For us reflectors, it's strategy, authority are the same. So
Right. Right.
weigh the lunar cycle and weigh the lunar cycle. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Once I learned that too, I just, had so much more of a connection with the moon, and
Mm,
started working with the cycles. And actually, when I did wait for 30 days and make like decisions, it really
mm-hmm.
does work. So
I know, it's
yeah,
amazing, isn't it?
it's so cool.
And the only thing you have to do is trust that the things that are correct for you stick around for your lunar cycle.
Yes.
Because you might think, oh my God, a month, that is so long, but it's actually not.
Right.
If a job is there to be there for you, it will be there in a month, and they will call you and, you know what? We changed it a bit. You get a raise and only need to work 75% or something. It could be
Yeah.
just something surprisingly happen.
Yeah, no, that actually happened in my last job, and the interview was going
Yeah.
for a month, and at first I was like, wait, this is taking long. And then I'm like, wait, no, this is perfect. Like the timing is working. And like
Uh-huh.
I went through all the cycles in the moon, like it went through my chart where like
Mm-hmm.
1 week I was like, no, I'm not sure. Like, and then the
Mm-hmm.
next it got more clear, like, yes, this is right. And then at the end it
Yeah.
was like so aligned. So it taught
Oh,
me to
I
be more
love this.
patient. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I don't know if you know, but a tip is also to just soundboard with people
Yeah.
and
Yes.
feel how a decision feels throughout your cycle by talking to people and getting their definition into your
Yes.
system, to feel how it feels with this kind of energy in you.
Yeah.
And
That's great
that's just
advice.
so, and it really helps because you hear
Yeah.
yourself talking, you hear how it feels in your body when you talk about it.
Mhm.
And then you know how it feels when it's your yes.
Yes.
And as a reflector, everything is so inconsistent. So
Yeah.
there's nothing you can actually hold. It's nothing that is you, in a way. That
Mhm.
sounds maybe weird for people, but it's actually totally fine, guys. That
Yeah.
is everybody that is not a reflector. It's totally fine. That's just
Yeah.
how we are. But you can stabilize your body by just waiting your month, so you have your yes, and that makes you strong.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah, we're not meant to be defined. That like really helped me to understand that. And
Mm-hmm.
as reflectors, we're like the lowest percentage, right, of all the
Mm-hmm.
types. There's like
Yeah,
generator, manifestor, projector, manifesting
exactly.
genera, and we are completely different, it feels like, than all the
Yeah,
others.
we
So
are.
yeah, we're not meant to be defined. And I don't know about you, when I'm like around certain people, then I start like acting like them,
Mm,
and then you can figure
totally.
out like, do I like this or not? Is that
Yeah.
something you
Do I like this version of myself? Is that cool? Or
Yeah.
totally. As environment is so,
Oh yeah, we should talk
so
about that.
essential for us.
Yes.
Um, and you don't break up with people, just break up with the environment. It could
Yeah.
be you have a really close friend and you love this person and you go together, you go for a coffee and to a place of that just is not correct for you, and the conversation is weird and you are weird, you feel weird, and then the next time you meet in a different cafe and it's just everything's just
Yeah.
sparkling. So because
Yeah.
you just reflect everything around you, and if it's not correct for you
Yes.
as a reflector, it's weird. It
It
gets really
is.
weird.
Yeah, you just feel off entirely. Yeah.
Off, disappointed, that's our
Yes.
signpost. Invisible, I have that a lot, that I'm just like, I
Oh,
could just also
yeah.
go, nobody noticed that I'm here, what am I
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
You just
I have noticed
disappear.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I feel like when I I think it's better for me to partner with people or like
Mm-hmm.
network and things like that. Otherwise, I felt like before, like, yeah, I would be kind of invisible off in my own world, not like reflecting back anything.
Yeah.
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 hmm and can you share, you know, how you discovered essential oils? Because I feel like that's
Oh.
something else we have in common. Like,
Yeah.
and that's really important for reflectors. So how did that happen?
Yeah. Well, as a reflector, we are quite sensitive. Doesn't mean we're
Yeah.
weak, but our
Yep.
system, we're just very sensitive. So I always had a very strong connection to alternative healing methods,
Mm-mm.
maybe to just, call it like that. And I actually was looking for something when I had my son, for something that is easy, that works, and that I can use at home without needing to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
And then these oils just happened to show up in my life. I got invited to a online workshop, and you got little samples.
Yeah.
And I had bought essential oils before, and I was like, yeah, they're nice. It smells nice.
Yeah.
But then I opened this little samples, and I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
smells nice. What is this? This is different.
Yes.
And then my 5-1 went into investigating it. And then I was like, after a few months, I was like, yeah, I want to work with that. I think that
Yeah.
feels, so yeah, that's
Yeah,
how it
that's so
happened.
awesome. That's how it happened for me too.
Did
And
it? Of
it literally is
course.
the same. Yep. And like, so we both use doTERRA. That's what we work with. And
Mm-hmm.
I had tried oils before and I knew I was supposed to, work with them in some way, but I didn't like it. And I was actually even going to create my own oils and like make
Mm-hmm.
them, which is like a whole process. And then I met someone and they showed me doTERRA and I just saw the bottle and I was like, these are different. I know I
Yeah.
can feel it. And
Yeah.
then I tried the sample and yeah, because I'd already been investigating and looking
Mm-hmm.
into it, like once I found, oh, this is what I want and I have it right here. So yeah, I think it's definitely connected with reflectors. Like I'm in another
Mm-hmm.
reflector Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And we all shared one day, like, what are our jobs and our businesses? And so many 5-1 reflectors shared that they worked with essential oils. And a lot of them were doTERRA.
So interesting.
So interesting. Like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, I think it's like the sensitivity
Mm-hmm.
and needing to maybe clear our aura from
Mm.
other energy types, something like that. And then the
Mm.
teaching of people. I feel like
Yeah.
you started looking at human design before other people did, and I feel like even with the oils now, it's about like educating people on
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
foreign topic to them, like, and it might seem crazy to some people, and it sometimes does like that, but we're meant to, I feel,
Yes.
educate in that way.
Yeah. And if it's correct for you, and it's it's aligned, and it talks from the essence of you, literally the essence,
Yeah.
just go for it. Just do the crazy.
Yeah.
you know you don't know what will happen. We cannot predict the future. The body knows,
Exactly.
and you're like, this is what I need to do now. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I have to do it.
Yes.
So we do that.
Yeah.
And as you said, I feel that too. The bottles, that is just such a high vibrant frequency in them.
Yeah.
Not oils are created equally. It's
Yeah.
just a different. It's just different, and
Exactly.
we just,
Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, we both really love it. So.
Yeah, we both picked up on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's I feel like they fit in with the spiritual work and knowing yourself because you have to
Mm-hmm.
balance like your physical health in order
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
house all these changes. So, yeah.
Yeah. And as a 5-1, we love investigating, and there's so much research and things right now that you can just
Yes.
dig in. Our first line is really happy.
Yes. Yeah, it's so true.
So,
Like so many ways to use oils and
yeah,
yeah, and so many ways to learn, like always learning. It's like perfect for us.
it is. best thing ever.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so how do you help your clients with human design and essential oils? Like, what do you offer?
Well, we offer classes, of course. We do readings.
Mm.
We do something called Living Your Design, Living and Loving Your Design, actually. That's a 10-week class that we really love doing, where you have a group of people and you go through, the types and the centers and everything you need to start your experiment. And you get
Cool.
homework to really, observation exercises so that you can incorporate your design and your experiment into your life.
Yeah.
And Pontus and I, so my partner, his name is Pontus, we do that together because it's great teaching. I love the teaching aspect because there's female and male energy that we can,
Yes.
have both aspects in it. And he has
I
a
love
different
that.
experience, although we're not the same design, but very similar.
Right.
Still have a very different approach and experience, and we come with you know, our life.
Yeah.
And
I like the masculine and feminine.
mm-hmm,
You need both, I feel, to balance.
totally, yes.
Yeah.
And I find it very important to, men need to learn to step into their femininity. Women need to learn to
Yeah.
accept and step into their masculinity, because
Yeah.
we have all aspects.
Yes.
So
That sounds
important.
so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's an online journey that you're talking
Right
about?
now it's online. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a situation, and
Yeah.
we do it online. I
Yeah.
like that too, because it can be from all over the world.
Yeah. That's
So
very cool.
yeah, and then we do, sessions with people, personal sessions, and
Yeah.
into their chart. And yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, I
basically, yeah.
recommend anyone who's starting to do like a reading to learn, their design. And it truly is
Yes,
life
do that.
changing once you integrate this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have all my clients find out their design.
Mm-hmm.
I find it's like more inclusive than astrology, even,
Yeah.
or other kind of, personality tests. Uh, yeah.
What I like or love, and so, about human design, and something that we should point out more, it's based on your DNA. So you cannot, for
Right.
example, all these other systems that you self well evaluate. Is that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Where you're like,
Yep.
oh, I'm more likely to, from 5 to 10, do this and that. You
Yeah.
judge yourself,
Yeah, that's
you
so
know?
true.
You come from your mind, from your trauma, from your experience, from what, in a job interview,
Yeah.
what the person might want to hear, what you should
Yep.
maybe be. So in the human design, we cannot do that. We cannot fake what we are, because it's DNA, and that's
Yeah.
that,
That is such a good point. That is so true. It's really
isn't
based
it?
on
Yeah,
our DNA without like what you're saying, like our subjective opinion of ourselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then we can work with the true you,
Mm-hmm.
because you see that in your chart.
Yeah.
And you can, yeah, authentic,
Yeah.
learn to align again. And just, I mean, in my work, explaining people their design is usually this very like, oh, freeing feeling for them,
Yeah.
because it's things that they know. It's something you actually know.
Exactly.
You learn to not do it anymore, but then you
Yeah.
get the okay to do it. You get the okay as a reflector. Wait your month, and you're like, oh yes, of course, I always would love to do that, but I feel so pressured. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. It gives you like the permission to be who you are regardless of
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. Yeah, can you share a few sentences about each of the other types so that people can kind of start to think like, oh, maybe this is me?
Mm-hmm. I can try to keep it short.
Yeah.
So we have 4 different types. So reflector, we talked a little bit about. Then there are the projectors that are here to guide energy. They can read energy very good, and they have an aura that is focused and brings focus to a whole group, if they're just present in this group, their strategy is to wait for the invitation, because they need to be seen for what they can offer, and people need to be open to receive their guidance. And then it depends on, the authority that you have. So there are all kinds of different authorities, but the strategy for a projector is wait for the invitation. So that makes sure life can come to you in a correct way.
Right.
And then we have manifestors. So if the percentage, because you said there's a little, it's only reflectors are around 1%, projectors are around 21%, manifestors is around 8%.
Right.
These are the people that the propaganda is built around. Go out there and make it happen. So they have an aura that is very close or strong. So they have a very strong energy field around them, and they push away things around them. That's why they need to go and get it.
Right.
So they need to, we all start by waiting. It's not a mental thing. Again, manifestors are not supposed to go out there and just, initiate and do things all the time. Needs to, again, come through the body's intelligence, like, oh yes, this is right for me, this is correct to manifest. And then they inform before they take action. So the people around the manifestor can just calm down, give them the peace and the freedom that they need to mind their own business, because manifestors often just like to do their own thing.
Yeah.
So they need to inform to create space for themselves. And then we have the generators or manifesting generators, which are around 70%. So this is the group of people that generates the energy, the life force on this planet. So without them, we wouldn't exist. So
that is so true.
Thank you. And generators have a very open, very fluffy aura that is evolving, and they love to exchange energy usually, and they're here to wait again and respond to life, because life comes to them all the time in all kinds of shapes and people. But it can be, you hear a bird sing, or you see a pile of laundry, or generators react to life all the time,
right?
Because life comes into their energy field all the time. So their strategy is also to wait and respond to life, to see what the gut says. Like they have the sacral sound, and like, does the motor say, yes, I have energy to dedicate into this or that, or I don't? So then I wait until I really know, this is my yes, and then I can do it. I can start to fold the laundry, or I can, whatever's correct for them.
Yes.
Only they can tell you what their yes is.
Right. It's very intuitive. Yeah. Wow. And then did you say manifesting generators, or is that
that's I don't want to exclude them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
They are generators. The aura is a generator, but they have a connection to the manifesting, to the throat center. My God, my words.
Okay.
So they have an energy. They have some of the motor connected to the throat directly.
Right.
Plus the sacral center, if we want to go into a chart now a little bit into detail. But what that means is that they have the capacity to manifest really fast. They're really fast in manifestation. It still needs to come out of the gut, out of the, what does the sacral say? Yeah. And the big difference is usually when a generator is asked, for example, hey, should we go for a walk? The generator says, So first the sound and then the body movement. Manifesting generators, just the body moves, and they're standing at the door with the keys and like, should we go?
Yeah.
So they're just a bit, a bit faster.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, and I know, because I'm like, manifesting generators, I know so many of them. And it's like they move really fast, like so fast. Like, I know I've helped some of my clients like get jobs, and they're just like turn around like so quickly. For me as a reflector, it takes so much longer. So I'm like, wow, that's cool. Yeah.
I know. It's it's very fascinating. And they
Yeah.
can go on quite long because they have the sacral center. So it's like just a motor that provides energy if it's
Right.
correct. And manifestors fast manifesting too sometimes,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they run a sprint and not a marathon.
Right.
But then, it's very important to follow your strategy and authority, because if you, as a manifesting generator or any other type, say yes
Yeah.
to something, you're stuck somehow, and your energy will just not be happy.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
true. And that's a good point too of like how you work best. Like once I learned that reflectors work in like spurts, like
Mm-hmm.
I always knew I needed breaks. Like I remember just in my like early in my career, I was like, I need breaks. Like I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like that's a thing, but I'm gonna need to do that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm like so accepting of that, it's like I know some parts of the day it's like it feels like I'm doing nothing. But then I'll get this random burst of energy and
Mm.
do like 2 hours of work that will be like everything I needed to do that day. So,
Uh,
and then it goes away and I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'm
timing.
done now." Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's so important to really honor your body and your
Yeah.
inconsistency.
Yeah.
And as a reflector, you take in so much all the time. So the time you're doing nothing, you're actually
Yeah.
doing a lot.
It's
Your
so
body
true.
is taking care of the information and everything, and the energy that we took in to just, you know,
Yeah.
we just don't move. It doesn't mean that there's a lot happening.
It's so true. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, even though I'm doing nothing, I'm like online and maybe I'm looking at something like the
Mm-hmm.
news or a website, and then that inspires me. Yeah, it's like it's still taking in the information, but I also work full time in a 9 to 5. So in that
Mm-hmm.
kind of setting, it's like I know that my energy is not going to last the full day of doing one thing. So I like accepted that about myself and just knew even when I'm doing nothing, like I'll go up and talk to someone or do something else because it's just
Mm-hmm.
like my energy is not going to be straight through the day. Whereas maybe a generator, um, or yeah, a generator, a manifesting generator, that would be more, I feel like that's what that structure was made for.
It probably was this long hours. As a non-sacral being, it's 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should only need to work 2 hours a day. It's just the
Yeah,
generator world. That's the thing.
it
We,
is.
we're just guests here.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean that this long hours are good for generators either.
that's true.
They also need their breaks. They just need them later than us.
Mm,
So
mhm.
even motors need to rest to recharge,
Right.
or batteries, they need to recharge at some point.
Yep.
And imagine being stuck in something as a generator that you just do not like doing.
Oh my God. No, I
Yeah.
can't imagine that. Like, I
And
feel like
then,
they have to be doing what they love. I mean, all of us,
yeah,
but especially generators.
because imagine this planet without this frustration, because generators in their not self, they get
Yeah.
frustrated, and then we would have this planet of satisfaction where they're just like, people are just, they just love what they do, and it
Yeah.
just, feels good. Yeah,
Okay, so that's what we need to do. We need to help the generators who
we
are the
need to help.
majority. Yeah, because that
Yeah.
underlying frustration, you're so right.
And we need to help the projectors know what they do to guide a generator. That means basically they just need to be there and present. They don't need to mentally, you just need to help the generator find their yes.
Mm,
And imagine that,
yeah.
this connection would just flourish, and then almost all generators are satisfied here. That would be a shift.
Wow. That would be amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really about, you know, knowing that part of ourselves and then being able to work from that. And
Mm-hmm.
even like, so that's in work, like that already changes everything. Like if you know your design and how you work, and then thinking about like where you live. For me, now I live on my own as a reflector. It's like
Mm.
so
Mm.
awesome.
I can imagine.
It was
Oh.
so cool. Like it's something that I wanted for the last few years. And then I wasn't sure because I'm like, well, there will be no other energy. But it's like so nice to just have that empty area of my own energy to like cleanse itself after a day of seeing people.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, we sleep separate.
Okay, I was gonna, yeah, I want to do that.
I have my own room, and Pontus has his own room, and
Yeah.
Leon has his little nook somewhere, but out of our aura, so that we can just
Yeah.
be. And it's not about intimacy; it's just about sleeping. I do that alone anyway, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just it helps you to wake up cleansed and as yourself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you take in the energy, even if it's two reflectors, you still
Right.
exchange something all the time and the body never gets to rest fully.
Yeah.
So
that's what I want to do. So I'm so like, we have to normalize that. Like once I learned that
totally.
reflectors like need that, I'm like, I think back to times where I did share a sleeping space. I'm like, I always did feel super weird the next day. Like, and it was just like not my own energy. And now that I'm in my own only, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to need my own room when that happens.
I totally understand that.
Wow.
I mean, a few centuries ago, king and queens, they would always sleep separately. You would never sleep together. So let's just bring that back.
Yeah.
Maybe not the rest
so
of this,
true.
but
Yeah.
the sleeping maybe.
But that's so cool. Like, you're both reflectors. So there's that understanding too. Like you're both like, we need that as well.
And I mean, it's beneficial for every type.
Right.
If a projector and the generator, or even two generators, let's say one is emotional, one is not. So the open emotional center gets conditioned by this emotional wave all the time and gets, never gets to fully take care of all the hormones, because that's what gets shared from one to the other, the hormones of the emotional wave.
Wow.
Your body needs to work with all the information, all the hormones need to go back to where they belong, and if they cannot do it because there's more coming all the time, it's just difficult.
That's so interesting. That's so cool. And the other thing I want to bring up too is, did you know that your business has like its own human design? Like I had another woman, Emily, on the podcast last episode, and she was saying that, and I did my business, and my business is a projector. I think a 3-4, which to me makes sense because I always feel like the invitation needs to be there. I've noticed that, and now I notice that I have to give myself like this platform, like this podcast, to reach people in that way. Have you heard of this too?
No, not really. I don't know do you know how she reads that?
Yes.
Is that the day it was you opened up your company, or what is it based on?
Yeah, she said either the day you started the company or the day you started the website, like bought the domain. And to me, the website felt more like when I actually start. Yeah, so that's what I based it off of.
Okay. I've never heard. I don't know how that, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
Right.
Because it's all, it's all connected to neutrino streams.
Right.
That condition or imprint the moment of birth, your design crystal or your personality crystal.
Oh.
So the neutrino field imprints something. So I wonder what it imprints on a company. I mean, it's energy anyway.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different way of thinking of it, because you think of like yourself as the business. It's like your energy definitely is a part of that. But I just thought that was cool too, to look at that. Like you could look at so many things then that way, that we're born, and
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Check what our company is when.
Yeah, I
check
would
in
love
the papers
to know.
when that was born.
Yeah.
But speaking of some human design related things, do you know about the PHS? Do you experiment with that?
I've never heard of that.
Okay. for a reflector, that's something, I mean, take your month if you want to experiment with it, let your
Yeah.
body decide. But it's primary health system. But so maybe it really fits into your work.
Ooh, yeah.
So you look at the design and it's something that you actually need a really long education for it. So professionals need 7 years to really get the
Oh, wow.
certificate for that. Yeah, because it's very complex. But you can, look it up or find somebody that you trust that can give you a reading.
Yeah.
Um, it's it tells you how you're designed to take in information and nourishment so that your body can take the most, out of most energy out of what you ate. And it's not about what, but how you eat it. So that
Right.
it
Right.
could be warm or cold, or you need high sound, or you need stimulation, or you need it's separate. For example, I have indirect light, so I eat without UV light. So when the sun is setting,
Wow.
and that's also the time where my body starts to really function. Like, I'm happy that
Yeah.
we do this podcast in Sweden. It's 6 o'clock
Right.
now, so it's dark. So then my
Wow.
system works. And then it also tells you, so the two things or the three things that I like about the PHS, what I think are very helpful. The rest is also very cool, but it's very complex. Let's start with these three things. Your
Mm-hmm.
environment, so where your body is most supported. It could be
Yeah.
mountains, it could be kitchen, it could be cave. And it's an energetic thing. You don't need to live in a cave, you don't need to live on a mountain, but
Got
it's
it.
something. For example, mountain would be the highest floor in the house, could be a mountain.
Wow.
Or a cave is just a room that energetically just has one entrance,
Right.
not two doors. That's the energy just runs through, so it needs to be something closed.
That is so cool.
And then you have a super sense, so it tells you what your body, which sense your body gets the most information from. So it could be smell, taste, touch, it could be feeling. That's just, you just feel it without needing to touch it. It
Yeah.
could be inner vision or outer vision, so you need to look at it, or you go inside, meditate over it, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, really cool. And for a reflector, that's one thing that you can really use to stabilize your form,
Yes.
because that's something we can really work with, that our body is strong, because there's so much, as we said, that is changing
Yeah.
all the time, but that's always there.
Oh, I would love to get this reading and this clarity because I know, like, for one, I think I heard somewhere on a podcast before that reflectors eat
Hmm.
alone better, like, than
It
eating
depends on
without.
your design. It's
Yeah.
not that every reflector needs to eat alone.
Right.
It depends on what your PHS is. So it could be a
Yeah.
reflector that needs to eat alone, so that's best. But it could be, if you have people that need it calm when they eat, there are people that need stimulation when they eat. So they
Mm,
would need to have other people around.
yes. And the way you're doing it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. What was your top sense? I want to know in your PHS.
Feel.
Feel.
It's
Okay.
not touch, so I don't need to touch it, but I
Yeah.
feel it. Um, and for me, it works best without electronics because they disturb it somehow. But when I go for a
Yes.
walk in the forest, I feel what my body needs to eat. For
Mm-hmm.
example, it's like, oh,
Wow.
I need spinach. Okay,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. I feel like mine's either feel or smell, like
Mm-hmm.
the sense of the essential oils. Like I think it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those. So that's a really good tool for,
Or what you
you
said,
know.
I mean, that's all guessing, but you said you looked at the bottle and you knew. So maybe you have double
Yeah.
vision, you saw it.
That's so true. Yeah, I
But
for sure, like, it registered in my mind, like just seeing it. Yeah.
yeah, but it's something we can check.
Yeah. That's so cool. Like that's an even deeper level. And I know reflectors have like different food sensitivities or like
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So that's why human design is great for everyone, but I feel like especially as reflectors, and then this PHS takes it one step further.
I love it. I think it's so, I mean, for every type, but again,
Yeah.
start with strategy and authority. So,
Yep.
take your lunar cycle to see if your body wants to experiment with it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
Yeah.
also for generator, if is it a yes or a no in your body and all this, so you
Yeah.
need to really listen to that. Otherwise it's mental again, and you go, okay, I think that's really good for me, let's
Yes.
do it. And your body goes, oh God, why is she doing that now?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's so true. I feel like these knowing your design helps you be more in touch with your intuition, which is like
mhm.
your higher knowledge and best way of making decisions. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
your inner guiding.
Yeah.
It's just, it's there. The body is so smart.
Mhm.
And the body wants to survive and live and be healthy. So it
Yeah.
will choose the things that are best for you. It's
Right.
just the mental plane that goes, I don't think this is good. I don't think this job
Yeah.
serves me. I don't earn enough money or whatever.
Right.
Instead of good, bad, who knows what will happen when you just let the body, guide you.
Exactly. Your mind is limited and you don't want to
Totally.
trust
Yeah.
all your thoughts. Yeah. That is so
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, everyone needs to check out human design. And so
Mm.
where can we find you online?
Um, well, we have a homepage called thekeytoyourself.com. And then sorry, my throat. I started to be more active on Instagram. That's where we also met.
Yes.
Since a few months, I was like, okay, let's just do that. Let's
Yeah.
just, Instagram feels good. Let's just try
Yes.
that out. But my name is a bit difficult. So maybe, I don't know if you could put that in the
Yes.
information or so.
Yep, I'll share that in the notes because yeah, I really like your Instagram and the way you're
Oh,
teaching human design and the
oh,
oils. Yeah. It's
yeah.
really
We
nice.
investigated each other.
Yeah. We did. I think I feel like you were maybe you met Amanda who is Reflector Life on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't she do this share about who you are thing? If you're a
Yes.
reflector, that's where we know each other, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Because
And
we
then I
both were
saw
like, wait,
yeah.
doTERRA, 5-1. Wait. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God, yes, she knows doTERRA, she's doing this 5-1, yeah. And
Yeah.
that was cool. I feel like I've met Amanda in a Facebook group, the one I was telling you. I think it's Reflector 88 Circle.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
know.
it's a good group. But yeah, I feel like, finding other reflectors are finding each other now.
Yeah.
Which is
It,
really nice.
it's so important. We had a session yesterday and talked about reflectors. Um, and I was brought to tears because it's just so touching, and it's something that is so important for me to teach reflectors about themselves, but also the other types about us, because there's so much weird information about reflectors out there and
Yeah.
misconceptions, and because nobody really knows. Because the funny thing is that Ra had a program that he wanted to bring to this planet about
Yeah.
reflectors as the key to the consciousness, but
Right.
then he left this planet, so he didn't do
Oh,
it.
oh no.
And we're like, wow. So okay, I guess that's our job now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on my fractal there are a lot of reflectors, apparently, because I just meet reflectors the
Yeah.
last years more and more and
Same,
more,
same.
right? And I think we need to find out for ourselves first what our gifts are, because
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Right.
And I think we will find it out when there's also a general shift in a lot of things, and we will see it more clearly, because right now it's
Mhm.
we can be invisible.
Right.
We
Right.
look like a generator. We could, we can
We could be all the
pretend
types.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we're not. It's just we can, yeah,
Yeah.
pretend, play to be this or that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like even just with you, like there's that understanding there and
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so cool, like to be in that same space with another reflector. So
And you don't need words. We could just sit here, do a
yeah.
podcast, and just be silent for an hour, and
Yeah.
then
It would just be like, yeah, I know.
yeah, I know. Same.
Yeah.
It's just it's just there, and the aura
It's
talks.
beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
like it's amazing. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm so glad you came on the podcast
Oh,
and
thanks for having me. I'm happy that we
yeah,
met,
I'm
that
so happy we met.
the universe said, you have to meet.
Yes.
That's so cool.
So divine. Yes.
Yes, divine, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and Look forward to connecting again.
Thank you.